Now, Executive Suites with WPRI.com reporter Ted Nesi.
Welcome to Executive Suite. I'm Ted Nesi. Always good to have you with us. And today we're talking about two interesting companies in the electronics world. Later on in the show, we're going to speak to the founder of Veterans Assembled Electronics, VAE. They've been around a couple years. They're providing training, but they're a business, and it's an interesting model. We're going to talk about that. But first, very pleased to be joined by the man in charge of a company I've wanted to talk about for a long time on here, Martin Kitts van Heyningen. He is Chairman, President, and CEO of KVH Industries down in Middletown. People might recognize you. You have a big building down there, so they might know KVH.
Actually, two of them.
Two of them. All right. Well, thanks for being here, Martin.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
So let's start off with the basics. There are probably people who've seen the buildings and seen your logo and say, "What do they do over there?" So what's your thumbnail sketch? What do you do at KVH?
Yeah, we're a high-tech electronics company. We're involved in two major markets. We do mobile communications, mobile connectivity, and inertial navigation. So we're focused on mobile markets. Bringing content and connectivity to people at sea, to airplanes, vessels, vehicles, all kinds of mobile applications.
So so we'll kind of take them in two pieces. So the mobile connectivity piece is basically getting on the internet on your boat, right, and getting that. And people couldn't always do that kind of thing.
Exactly. So we started out on boats, like leisure boats, but now most of the business is actually commercial. So if you think of a commercial ship, a tanker in the middle of the ocean, you can't get cell phone because that only works about 10 miles offshore. So if you're 1,000 miles out at sea, satellites are really the only way to get that kind of connectivity. So we put together a global satellite network. We started regionally. We kept adding over the years. Started that part of our business about 10 years ago. And today we're the #1 player in global maritime VSAT, which is high-speed broadband at sea.
I remember covering you guys a million years ago now when I was the tech reporter at PBN and trying to understand VSAT and all the acronyms that go with it, getting it out at sea.
Yeah.
And just so people understand, they might think you're just talking about the physical, the hardware being used to get it, but you're also running, as you say, the satellite that actually beams the internet into your boat. Or
exactly. So when we started, we were a hardware company, and for many years we just built product. We built antennas, we built sensors, and then we got into the services business because we wanted to have that kind of recurring revenue base. And that transition's been pretty successful. Right now, about 60% of our revenue comes from recurring subscription.
So a big shift for you.
It's a very big shift for us. It's a big mindset change, and we're always focused on hardware. And now we're a services company with airtime plans and 24, 365 tech support. And
that actually reminds me a little of Apple has been, we think of them originally Macs and iPods and all that, but they're now getting more and more revenue out of subscribing to their music service and things like that. Why is that appealing to tech companies to make sure you're on both sides of that equation?
Well, there's two parts of it. One is from the business model, it's attractive to have a different revenue stream and also a recurring revenue stream that just comes in. So when you start the year, you have a pretty good idea what your sales are going to be, at least for that part of the business. But more importantly for the customer, it's just an incredible advantage if you are building the hardware, you write the software, you run the network, you can deliver files, you can deliver content, we can upgrade all our products over the air in the middle of the ocean. So from the customer's perspective, it's really great to have one throat to choke. So if it goes wrong, they know it's our fault.
So that's a different way to look at it from the customer's perspective. Yeah. And then the second line of products might be a bit less intuitive for people. It's inertial navigation. If I understand it right, it's one application is actually going to be these self-driving cars we're hearing more and more about. Yeah. So what are we talking about there in layman's terms?
Yeah, so everyone's familiar with GPS, and GPS is a satellite-based solution that tells you where you are. Our technology can tell you where you are even when GPS isn't available. So on a military application, if it's intentionally jammed, or if you're in Manhattan and the buildings are blocking the signals. So our technology is unjammable, and it detects the rotation rate of the planet to measure where north is, for example, and to align itself using fiber optic gyros. So we provide backup positioning, but we also provide orientation. By that I mean a GPS tells you where you are. I'm here in the studio, but it doesn't tell me my orientation. Am I pointing this way in 3 dimensions? So that's what our sort of core technology does.
So you don't just want to look down and see the point on the map. You also want to know.
Right, for different applications. Let's say you have a delivery drone and you want to know the orientation of the drone in 3 dimensions so that you can keep it flat and level or pointed in a certain direction. So that to do that you need rate sensors, and that's what our technology does.
And as you were talking about, you mentioned you started off on sort of people's individual boats, then went to commercial boats. Also, as I understand, the military been using your products for quite a long time, particularly since 9/11. They've had more and more uses for it.
Yeah, so we've got, so our connectivity business is mostly commercial, but we do have customers like the U.S. Coast Guard. We've got about 140 vessels with them, so every Coast Guard ship has our satellite technology as their one and only means of communication once they get offshore. So it's a really, very robust network. But our inertial business, a lot of that is defense related for this backup for GPS positioning. The military calls it PNT, for position, navigation, and timing, where you always need to know where you are, and they also need the timing to synchronize the radios because they're, spread spectrum radios.
So they putting it, would it be like a tank, sort of the boat equivalent out there?
Yeah, I mean, a tank would be a high end, but the most common is an armored vehicle. So a vehicle that's, it's more than a Humvee, but it's less than a tank.
Interesting. Okay. So 2016, I was looking at the stock report. It's a pretty good year for you guys. You're up 25%. Now we're a few months into 2017. How's the business looking, and what do you think the outlook is looking ahead for growth, both in the short term, but then longer term for the company?
Right. So we're looking at 2017 as a bit of a transition year for us because we've got some really exciting new opportunities that we're investing in. So we're launching a whole new satellite network, the one I just described. We started about 2007. We've been upgrading along the way. But this year we're transitioning to new satellites. And for us, it's similar to the change that cell phone companies go through periodically when you go from 3G to 4G LTE. So it's a big change. It's a big investment. We're really excited about it because we think it'll keep us at our number one position in the maritime market. So that's one of the big initiatives, and some of the other ones, like you mentioned, things like self-driving cars. We're investing in new technology there to get our technology, which is already incredibly accurate, to get the cost down and enable us to scale it up to automotive-style volumes.
Have you been in a self-driving car yet?
I have.
What do you think of the experience?
It's pretty good. It's surprising. It's not perfect yet. Even the best ones.
Were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared. So because there was a driver, there's somebody sitting in the driver's seat all the time, but it is a little unnerving.
Being close to it, do you think? Not to sidetrack, but I'm just curious. Do you think? You must think so because you're making a bit of a bet on it there. That will become very common. Sounds kind of Jetsons to us right now, but we could see a lot of that.
Yeah, but if you think of, so my answer is yes. I think it's going to happen, and I think that the technology is probably going to go to the point where it's completely self-driving. So some people are trying to make self-driving cars where it drives, but then you have to take over, which is really a bad idea. It's like as soon as something is about to go wrong, the robot hands you the wheel. It's okay, now you're in charge. So I think those handoffs are dangerous. So I think it's got to progress to the point where you can really trust it, which is similar to what happens in airplanes today. A modern 747 has the ability to fly itself.
And which is where your technology would come in because you really want to be accurate on
exactly.
Where it is, where
so
it's
I think early on, so that's the challenge for us. I think early on, we've been designed into the prototypes and, nothing is in volume production yet. So the challenge for us is to make sure that we improve our technology and our cost to the point where we're still involved when it becomes a mainstream product.
All right, we're going to take a break. We come back, we're going to talk some more with Martin Kitts Van Heyningen about KVH, what they're up to in Middletown, and maybe some ideas he has for the state's economy. And then later, we'll talk about Veterans Assembled Electronics, VAE. Stick with us on Executive Suite. Welcome back to Executive Suite. I'm Ted Nesi. We're talking today a lot about the world of electronics. Later on, we're going to talk to the founder of Veterans Assembled Electronics and talk about what they're doing with vets to get them gainfully employed and some new careers going there. But right now, I'm talking to Martin Kitts Van Heyningen. He's the chairman, president, and CEO of KVH Industries, which makes all sorts of technology that boats use and other machines use to figure out where they are and get mobile connectivity. Did I summarize that all right?
Pretty
what do you
well,
think? Yeah. You'd probably do a better job with it. But one other title I could add to there actually is co-founder. This has been a family affair, almost probably 3.5, almost 4 decades now. Your family's been involved with this. Tell us how this all got started at KVH.
Yes, it's kind of an interesting story. I was working at a shipyard in Newport as painting boats, and I met the designer of one of the America's Cup yachts. And we were talking about electronics, and my dad was working at Raytheon at the time, and as a family we were into sailing, so the topic came up, and we ended up doing a proposal for them, and they were developing France 3 at the time, Baron Bic, the Bic pen fame. So our very first product was an onboard computer using our digital compass technology.
Now this would be like around the early 80s, right?
That's right.
Big old computer.
Right.
Sure.
So I was still in college. I actually wrote the business plan while I was still in college, raised some seed money from my friends who had wealthy parents, and we got started. My dad joined the company full-time about 4 years later. When he turned 70, they forced him to retire from Raytheon. So he came and worked for us full-time for another 20, almost 25 years. Wow. So he still did the Newport to Bermuda race when he was 94, I think. So he's, he passed away about 5 years ago.
Is it hard at all to believe, when you're in on the ground floor, 30 years later, 30 plus years later, what the company's grown into, all the things you're working on now, from talking to a guy while you're painting a boat? Yeah,
well, it starts slow. So what's interesting is that we've done a lot of different things over the years. So it doesn't feel like we're doing the same thing. So obviously technology changes, the markets change, and we're moving into services, self-driving cars. So none of the stuff that we're doing now, we envision. So it's nice to have that transition. And the company's grown quite a bit. We went public in '96. We've got about 675 people now. We're offices all over the world.
You must have tripled or quadrupled, if I'm doing my math right, since around the time you went public, right?
Yeah.
And for employee base.
Yes, for sure.
So I'm curious, we had a tech company from Aquidneck Island on not too many episodes ago, and one of the challenges they have faced, they said, is finding skilled tech workers down on Aquidneck Island. Now, you hear that actually all over Rhode Island, Southern England, either they're drawn to Boston or we don't graduate enough, but said particularly because you're at that point, you're really far from Boston by the time you're down in Newport, Middletown area and everything. How have you seen that challenge, and if so, have you guys addressed it?
Yeah, we definitely see that challenge, but it's not just in Rhode Island, it's in all our offices around the world. So really big shortage of tech people, so it's a little bit frustrating to hear people talk about, how are we going to get jobs? And we're like, we've got plenty of jobs. We just don't have the skilled people that can fill those jobs right now. So if you look at electrical engineers, software engineers, it's really challenging to get those skills.
Are people not taking the majors anymore, or just that we aren't graduating enough people? What do you think's driving that? You'd think if there's jobs open, you'd see a lot of people rushing to get the training.
Yeah. So the unemployment rate for software engineers is virtually zero. So it's I think that in the past people were drawn to law degrees or business or finance. So a lot of the best and brightest got sucked into those kind of careers. But I think it's a challenge for this country. It really is. Overseas it is easier to find people than it is in the U.S.
Interesting. The governor, thinking about some of those issues, actually, Governor Raimondo, I believe, visited KVH last year, and she's also now kicking off this effort to help revitalize, build up manufacturing around. She has a new council she wants advice from. I wouldn't be surprised if they came to you looking for some ideas. What would you say to them? What would be good for manufacturers around, in your view?
Yeah, she did visit, which was great. I think a lot of the initiatives that the state is trying is make the state more business friendly. It's a really good idea because, everybody's sort of pro-worker, which is nice, but, you can't forget that you need the businesses, to employ the workers. So I think that seems to be changing in Rhode Island now, which I think is great. From a manufacturing perspective, everybody focuses on labor cost, but for high-tech products, labor, like our products, labor is 5% of our cost. So labor is not the driver. So I think just being in a reasonably business-friendly environment, low energy costs, things like that, tax rate would be helpful too. But overall, today we really don't have a problem working in Rhode Island, manufacturing in Rhode Island.
So do you think it's gotten better you've been doing business around now 30-something years?
Yeah, no, I really do think it's gotten better.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll end on an optimistic note then. Martin Kitts Van Heyningen, Chairman, President, and CEO of KVH, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Stick with us, though, because coming up next, we're going to talk to John Shepard about his company. He's the founder and CEO of Veterans Assembled Electronics. Stick with us on Executive Suite. Welcome back to Executive Suite. I'm Ted Nesi, and I'm pleased to be joined now by John Shepard. He is the CEO and the founder of Veterans Assembled Electronics, VAE. John, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, John, it's an interesting model. My colleague Walt Buteau actually profiled some of the work you guys have been doing a little while ago. He said to me, you should have him on. It's interesting. So you impressed Walt. So what's a thumbnail sketch on what you do at VAE?
Well, VAE is in a position to train service-disabled veterans in an immersive program of 5 months of classroom and laboratory. And at the end of those 5 months, those veterans have earned 11 internationally recognized certificates that manufacturers want to see. But more importantly than getting them through that program, we advocate on their behalf with the employer. So we actually would act like an agent to the veteran with the employer to ensure that it happens.
And people might hear this and say, well, it seems like there's a ton of different training programs, and there's schools, and there's all sorts of ways people can get training. Why do we need another one, or what's unique about yours? What gap did you see? You founded this back in '09 that you thought this is what we need to do specifically.
Well, we were industry at the time. We were a prime contractor to the Naval Underwater Warfare Center. We had an opportunity there. And in reading more and understanding more about the skills gap, we said, look, we're industry. If industry can't resolve this problem, traditional education is going to have a very difficult time. So from that, we created our own curriculum. We took the assembly and manufacturing side as well as the electronic technician side. We integrated those two pieces and came up with, again, a very unique curriculum that's part of that 5 months immersive training.
And where are your people working now? One example that I think is pretty cool, some of them are going to Universal Studios?
Well, we have several locations around the country right now. We have 3 in Florida. Universal Studios so far has taken about 13 of our graduates. Now, we'll only graduate between 30 and 35 students a year per location. And so our model is to have many locations. But Universal Studios is just one. Boston Whaler has also hired. Lockheed Martin. Martin's organization, who you just interviewed, I suspect is already interviewing some of our people. It's as we know, electronics are ubiquitous. They're everywhere, and our students learn not only how to understand electronics, but how to use the tools and gain the skills that will allow them to be valuable to the employer. And
when you look going forward, do you think there's room for a lot of growth in your model? Do you want to open a ton of locations all over the place? How do you balance, making sure you can keep doing what you've been doing for those guys so far with every business wants growth?
Well, at any given time, as you discussed earlier, there are about 625,000 jobs for electromechanical services in this country. If we can't be very large in one area, we can be very small and effective in an area such as Framingham or Hartford or Providence. So we will expand as we are financed through our operating cash flow. So we'll expand as we can afford to expand. Our alpha sites would be Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Fort Hood in Texas, Bethesda, and then our outlying areas would be Hartford, Framingham, Florida.
soon to be a city in Framingham, we were talking about. So when you look at the veteran population that you work with today, do you think, are there misconceptions about whether they're getting, people, there's always people talking about helping veterans, but are they actually getting the help, the assistance they need to integrate into civilian life the way you're trying to help?
That's a great question because there are a lot of people involved in the processes. We use other organizations' currency as they use ours. The Veterans Administration begin with rehabilitation, vocational rehabilitation and employment. Great operation here for the VA in Providence. They support the program, but there's several service organizations, Veterans Inc., Rhode Island Court, Veterans Court, that are there to help the veteran. There are lots of organizations there to do that. So as we're going through the program, the immersive program, our advocates, and we're working a 4 to 6 man team, our advocates will bring in those services as needed. So if a veteran's got a transportation issue, a housing issue, medical issue, whatever, they'll bring those services in to resolve that issue with them so that they can focus on the training in the program and be prepared for employment.
And you're a Vietnam-era veteran yourself.
I am,
Are
yeah.
you guys mostly working with the veterans of our more recent wars, Iraq and Afghanistan? Is it across generations of veterans? Sort of who's your target?
It's across the board. It's we had one fellow down in Florida who's 73 years old. We're going to get him a job.
You serve in Korea, maybe, or at least.
Well, it was just a little afterwards,
Yeah.
but it is across the board. But we're finding there are a lot of Iraq War, Afghanistan veterans coming back, and in many cases they're not transitioning as well as they would want to. So they're trying to find a way to integrate back in, and so they have barriers to employment that, again, using those outside services with us, we can get through and make them very valuable to the employer.
And one thing, reading some of the coverage of your organization from some of the papers that have looked at it, et cetera, they talked to some of your veterans and they said part of the problem they'd experienced was finding a job they could stay with for a while, a sustainable kind of career job as opposed to intermittent employment when they got back from the service. Is that a problem you're not for your graduates, but some of the people to come to you?
Yeah, I think typically when we think about it generally, we think let's get them jobs. We think in terms of let's get them a career. And so our advocates will work very hard with the employer to match the veteran with the employer. So the culture hopefully is similar and sustainable. And even if that veteran comes back 6 months later and says, hey, look, I'm moving or I'd like to go somewhere, we'll pick them up and help them again. I mean, our employment rate right now is over 75% of our graduates, which is pretty good.
And electronics specifically, is that primarily because it's what you come out of in your own life, or is it that's also where you thought you had the best chance of moving them into that?
Well, I've spent my entire career in the computer industry, but when we started with the Naval Underwater Warfare Center contract, it was to modernize the electronics on one of their legacy weapon systems.
Gotcha.
And during one of the stop periods there, we said, well, let's train veterans to do this work.
So let's say someone's watching, maybe a veteran themselves, maybe a family member is a veteran or something like that. Yep. Who's a good candidate for your program, or what should they be thinking about if they think that might be interesting to him or her?
I think any candidate who likes to work with their hands and likes electronics generally is a good candidate. But somebody who really wants to find a career is a very good candidate. I would say that those individuals are going to come into the program and succeed. I wouldn't worry about the math. Our instructors are extremely talented. They're engineers themselves. They're senior technicians. The math itself can be trained. Our ratio is 1 to 7 students, 1 instructor to 7 students. So they learn at their own pace. And they get it. When they get it and their face lights up, it's a fun thing to see.
So it must be very rewarding work for you to see people getting out of this and getting a job.
Oh, it's extremely. We've had so many different experiences. We have one fellow down in Florida.
About 30 seconds, sorry.
Okay, no problem. I mean, he works for Universal now, running all of their shows and rides. And he wasn't far from being suicidal when he came to us.
Wow, that is a swing in his fortune. He's probably grateful.
Yeah, and we're all grateful. But,
yeah, and the whole country's grateful for his service and everyone's service is involved. John Shepard, thank you for coming in. We're going to keep an eye on what you're up to at VAE Veterans Assembled Electronics. And thank you for tuning in for this episode of Executive Suite. Remember, you can catch every episode on WPRI.com or on iTunes as a podcast. See you next week.